PlanetCoaster is a game that I have spent way too much time on. While other people like to spend their time playing sports, heading to the movies, and going to parties, I like to spend my time building fictional theme parks themed to Despicable Me, because the joke of me claiming that these are the best movies ever has gone a bit too far. Since I like PlanetCoaster so much, when the sequel was first announced, I was overjoyed. This became my most anticipated game of the year. I even pre-ordered it, which I've never done before. However, when the game's release day arrived, I got a bit concerned, and that's for one simple reason. It had a mixed rating on Steam. I mean, that's a lower score than Garden of Banban 3. The first game I pre-ordered better not be worse than Garden of Banban 3. That being said, I still went into it expecting a good game. And what did I get? A good game. PlanetCoaster 2 is, in my opinion, a big step up from its predecessor. However, I understand why the game has a mixed rating because it has some problems, and while I don't really mind most of them, I know a lot of others do. So in this video, I'm going to share my thoughts on PlanetCoaster 2, both the good and the bad. For those that aren't aware, PlanetCoaster 2 is a simulation game that allows you to create the theme park of your dreams or guest nightmares. You can do this by putting down rides and shops, building roller coasters, and decorating the park. Like any good sequel, PlanetCoaster 2 adds many new features that weren't in the original game. However, for some reason, there's also a lot of features that got removed. I'll get into that later. The game's big new thing is the addition of the water parks, and despite that being what most of the marketing revolved around, I didn't really care about them. I mean, the water slides just look like roller coasters but without trains you can use to run people over, and the pools looked pretty boring. But surprisingly enough, I actually enjoyed these new water features. Water slides were pretty fun to go down, especially the body flume, and the pools are cool too, I guess. Your guests can drown. That being said, the water slides don't have actual physics, which is a shame. You'd think that the game with 2 ads where guests get hit by coaster trains would allow you to throw them off water slides, but nope, you can't do that. Another major change is a revamping of the pathing system. While the paths in PlanetCoaster 1 were functional, they were kind of basic and didn't really allow for realistic theme park layouts. I mean, they were pretty much just bendy lines. In PlanetCoaster 2, however, not only do you have the line pathing, we also have the ability to put down square, hexagon, pentagon, and octagon paths. There's also rounding and editing tools that allow you to change the paths as much as you want. I found the new pathing features to be really simple to use. It only took me like 5 minutes to put down the pathing for this water park I'm working on. And I also like how paths no longer cost money. Finishing a ride in the first game and then not having enough money to put down pathing for it was really annoying. You can also make it so that the line paths automatically put down trash cans or benches, which is a good feature, but for some reason you can't put both at the same time. Like, if I'm using a feature to automatically put down benches, it's because I don't want to go put down benches. By extension, I also don't want to put down trash cans. Why can't I do both at the same time? Moving on from the pathing, the game's roller coasters also got improvements, which is good because the game has coaster in its name. It would have been embarrassing if nothing was done with them. Making coasters and seeing them run in the first game was really fun, but actually riding them, not so much. The roller coasters just weren't smooth in that game, and it was kind of distracting. There were ways to smooth the coasters, but they were incredibly tedious. There's a 6-minute video that explains how to do it, and that's one of the shorter ones. The coasters in PlanetCoaster 2, however, are incredibly smooth. And there's also a new coaster type introduced that adds a lot of new special track stuff, that being the Multiverse Coaster. The Multiverse Coaster is the only coaster in the game to have things such as switch tracks and drop tracks, which were missing from the original game. This is easily the best coaster type in the game, and the version with only one car also has the ability to make a spin, so that's cool. The game introduces 4 new themes, those being the aquatic, resort, mythology, and Viking themes. I'm pretty sure Fortnite did all those first. I like these new themes, so I feel like the older ones are a bit more generic and therefore easier to theme around. Also, there's not much animatronics, which is a shame. Decorating your park has been made a lot easier too. They added the scale tool to change the size of objects, and you can even place things on coaster trains and flat rides. I made this cool little aquatic teacup ride that I was proud of until I began running and I realized I attached certain objects wrong. New management features have been introduced as well, most notably power. I can't believe PlanetCoaster 2 would copy Five Nights at Freddy's. Rides and shops need power now, so you need to put down generators and transponders to power them up. However, these things will bring down your scenery rating, so make sure to put them far away from guests. Water filters are also in the game because, well, you don't want your guests swimming in contaminated water, and they pretty much just work the same as power generators. Stat scheduling is also a thing now, but I have no idea how it works, and as a nice quality of life change, you can choose how big of a loan you want to take out, unlike in the original game, where there was a preset amount. As someone that takes out loans to escape bankruptcy, this is a good change. PlanetCoaster 2 has 3 different modes to play through, those being career, sandbox, and franchise. In career mode, you're in a pre-roll park and have to complete objectives given to you by Oswald and Eugene. I just did a tutorial on first part of the first chapter. The mode is fine, I guess. I've always preferred the sandbox mode, but the career mode here reveals some PlanetCoaster lore. You see, people have apparently been making roller coasters since the ancient times, and these people are called Coastonians. I don't know what that means. I need Math Game Theory to come out of retirement and explain it.
I'm Dream's father.
Sandbox mode allows you to make a park on an untouched plot of land. You can choose to play on Creative Sandbox, where you have unlimited money and management features are disabled, or Challenge Sandbox, which is pretty much just the opposite of that. Challenge Sandbox is my favorite mode in the game. It's got the blank slate of Creative Sandbox and imaginative features of Career mode. It's great. I just wish I'd stop going bankrupt. Franchise mode is like Challenge Sandbox, but all of your parks are connected under one franchise. In the mode, you place your parks around the world, or planet, I guess, and different locations have different modifiers. For example, in my water park, the modifier is that guests will spend more money on food than they will on rides. I like to call it America mode.
Eliminating the Department of Education?
Negative aura points.
You can also play franchise mode with friends, but unfortunately not at the same time. You can't work on a park as somebody else is currently editing it, which sucks. Franchise mode also has leaderboards, which is cool. My only real problem is that I'm not on them. Now, I've been pretty positive throughout this video, but unfortunately, the game has problems. Nothing is perfect after all, except Despicable Me. That's perfect.
I still have the diamond! Happy birthday!
My first complaint is something that I haven't really seen anybody talk about, but it kind of bothers me. For some reason, a scenery rating for rides will sometimes stay at 0, even after scenery is placed around it. Take this unfinished dark ride, for example. I gave it a roof, a floor, a wall, some decorations, and yet, even after all of that, the scenery rating is still at 0. Then when I was making this water coaster, I decorated the trains a little bit, added some rocks and an animatronic, and even gave it a basic station. The scenery rating is still at 0. Like, I don't get it. Is this just a problem with the game? Am I doing something wrong? Am I just stupid? Don't answer that one. Guess pathfinding is also pretty weird. They'll just walk through objects if they get placed on a path. I figured they might be a bit slow. There were 2 times when our game randomly froze or crashed, which was annoying. Both those instances happened when I was building a coaster or a slide, so I think something about the editor just makes the game break. A lot of the stuff in this game feels limited thanks to the fact that Frontier decided to release it on consoles as well as PCs instead of just waiting to put it out on consoles, and these limitations are pretty stupid. You can't have more than 6,000 guests at a time. The Frontier Workshop has a download limit of 4, previously 1 gigabyte, and the UI is not good. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I'd say it's an acquired taste, I've gotten used to it by now. But at the same time, if a taste has to be acquired, then maybe it's not good in the first place. Placing down a ride brings up a whole new screen now, and like, why? Why is it like this? In the original game, you just pull open the ride tab, click the ride you want, and then place it down. Here, you have to open the ride tab, hit custom ride, scroll through the menu, clicking through the different rides to see what they look like, find the one you want, and then put it down. This is just such an unnecessary change. The original UI was perfectly fine. Why change it? Also, this is gonna sound stupid, but getting 100% scenery rating in PlanetCoaster felt so good because not only was this number at 100 now, but also the color of the box is now green instead of red or yellow. Seeing that green box feels so rewarding. Seeing this makes me feel nothing. Custom billboards and music are also not in the game, which is a shame because they added a lot more customizability to the original one. Actually, like I said near the start of the video, a lot of stuff from the original game got removed. Things like security, restaurants, hotels, and the original themes are all missing from the game. On one hand, most of the features that were removed were pretty small, and I don't really mind their exclusion that much, but on the other hand, they're small features, why not add them? It can't take that long to add minor pre-existing features here, and while I might not have used them much in the first game, I'm sure other people did. They're definitely gonna bring back the original things in the DLC, and while that kind of sucks, I'm probably gonna buy it anyways. Frontier is thankfully already working on a lot of problems with this game. They're planning on removing the workshop download limit for PC, increasing the guest cap, adding custom billboards, and even adding water size physics. I think it's really cool that Frontier is addressing these problems so quickly, and while they should have addressed them before launch, these problems are minor enough to not make me mind that much. This isn't like a security breach situation where it was released in such a terrible and inexcusable state that the game was pretty much unplayable for 2 months. PlanetCoaster 2 just released with a couple missing features and minor oversights that don't really detract from the overall experience that much. In conclusion, is PlanetCoaster 2 really bad? No, not really. I understand why people don't like this game. Again, it has its problems, but for me at least, the new additions are enough to overshadow them. It'd be nice if the UI was reverted back to the original one though. Now, you excuse me, I've got to force myself to now play PlanetCoaster 2 and be productive. I'm only 6 minutes into editing my Big Into the Pit video, and I want to get that out sometime in January. Bye I guess.